Good afternoon everybody, welcome to another video. It is the afternoon, it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon now. I've managed to get out to a place that will be familiar, I'm sure, to regular channel viewers who go back more than a few months. You probably recognise those trees over there. This is the Avon. This is my small private stretch I have access to. One of my neighbours owns the fishing rights down here and lets me fish it, which is wonderful. Now I've nipped out just for a few hours this afternoon. My responsibilities are either done or delegated today, and the family are doing other things, so I've just nipped out for a few hours, perhaps fish just until it gets dark. And what I fancied doing was a bit of float fishing. So what I've done is grabbed a bit of retro gear. I've grabbed my John Wilson Avon Quiver. I've got this set up with the Avon top on, set at 11 foot. I've coupled with that my Garcia 704 closed face reel, 4-pound line. I'm going to do a bit of Waggler fishing. Not too far out in here, maybe a third of the way across. It's excuse me, it's a fairly wide section of the Avon. We'll fish just a third of the way across, just see what we can catch. I've grabbed a little bit of ground bait and about a couple of 3 pints of maggots. That's it, it's as simple as that. So hopefully we can catch a few fish. I'm sure we'll catch some roach, maybe even some rudd. I'm hoping we won't get bleaked out because there's a lot of bleak in here as well. May catch some skimmers, some hybrids, some silver bream, all sorts in here, even some chub, who knows. Now often when I fish down here in the past, I get a lot of pike strikes, a lot of pike attacks. So what I've done is also grabbed John Wilson Barbel Quiver, £1.75 test curve this one. I've set this up with a pike bung on it, trace with a circle hook on. What I'm going to do with that is just drop it in the edge here if we have any pike or zander trouble. I may just drop it out anyway, just where the float's in my eye line, and we'll just see if we can't pick up a bonus predator, bonus zander perhaps. Be nice to have first Avon zander of the season, so we'll get that in as well. The river conditions are not too bad. There's about 3 or 4 foot of visibility, which is not great, but as you can see, it's very, very overcast. Probably won't come across on here, but the light levels are pretty low, so that bodes well. There's not a breath of wind either, so it's going to be lovely to do some float fishing. Anyway, we haven't got too long, so I'm going to stop waffling. We'll crack on. So, as I said, cracking day. Doing a bit of Waggler fishing. Not a breath of wind. I'm not sure how the fish will respond to that. Usually do better with my fishing when there's a bit of breeze, although I don't like it much. Now if you go right in the middle of the river here, it's going to be perhaps 11 foot deep, something like that, but in the edge, about a third of the way across to where I'm looking to be fishing, it's probably about 8 or 9 foot. So we'll start there. I'm not going to plumb it because I know very roughly how deep it is, and I'll keep deepening up from where I think till we start dragging the bottom. I think that's the way to go. It's going to go on a size 18, perhaps a couple of maggots. We'll see what happens. Oh, I haven't been down here for quite a while. Maggots are pretty old as well, so they come with some free casters. So we can always go onto caster if we're struggling and getting the attention of a lot of small fish. I'm going to go on a loaded Drake Waggler, bodied Waggler, 5.5 BB and 3 BB. So certainly gives us enough weight to get out of there. Stick this in my float adapter. I do like to use a float adapter so I can change floats as and when required. Maybe that we're struggling with the depth or whatever with this float, we're not quite getting the distance we need. We'll give it a go at first with this one. See how we get on. First cast. That's it. I just want to go that sort of distance. I don't want to go out too far today. Just see how we get on there. Not put any bait in yet at all. Just want to see if perhaps we can have 5 minutes just trying different distances, see if we can drop on some fish. There are a few fish topping around, but this place is generally has shoals of roach in. Which is what I think we're looking at catching today. Well, I've had a couple of casts. I've not had anything straight off the bat there. I'm going to deepen up just a tad and start putting a bit of bait in, just a bit of ground bait, not too much. Can often, in my experience in here, can often take a few minutes just to get things going. I'm going to more concentrate on loose feeding really. We'll get a bit of ground bait in to sort of fish over. I'm not going to worry about being too accurate with it. Get a bit of smell in water, let the fish can sniff out. Right, we'll get to work with the catapult. It's just a nice range to catapult to. And about a foot deeper as well. Probably about 8.5, 9 foot now. Right, let's see. Well, first fish. Took a few goes. There we go, Mr. Perch. Fab. Oh, it's wonderful just watching that float going under. Well, there we go. First roach of the day. Fab. I'll get hold of him. Wonderful. That's what I come down here for. It's absolutely stacked with these fish. Not going to worry too much about overfeeding at the moment because there's generally lots and lots of fish in here. The water's not too cold at all, so we'll be alright I think. Just 20 or so maggots every cast. Well, we're getting some bites now. Just to spend a couple of minutes just putting the predator rod out, just right on the edge down here. Just out of my way, but still right in my eye line. Because I think we're gonna have some predator attention before too long. We're getting this many bites. Right, nice stamp of roach. Be nice to be catching a few bigger ones, but certainly not complaining. Wonderful. Just actually changed over to yellow maggot, not a bronze one, a yellow one. And lots of bites now. Lots more bites than I was. It's, I would assume, a lot more visible in 9 foot of water. Constant stream of leaves coming down, which is not making things particularly easy. But we're getting lots of bites. This is, to be honest, exactly what the doctor ordered. Just gone on cast to see if I could perhaps pick up some better fish, but well, don't know, slightly better. At least we got getting destroyed by bleak, which is my worry. Go on, leave it alone. No keep net today. Putting all the fish straight back. Don't need to keep net. And yeah, fishing down here, I've discovered there's so many fish down here, they don't go out and spook the shoal, which is often the case at smaller venues. All roach so far, apart from that solitary perch. A lovely stamper fish. I'm not going to break any records, but you know, catching one of these every minute or so is just fantastic. It's always about catching huge fish, is it? It's not for me anyway. It's just nice sometimes to just go out, catch some fish. Catch some fish on your own terms, some wild fish on your own terms. Can't beat it. Well, it is literally a bite a cast now, and I can, to be honest, I can predict pretty much where it's going to go under as well. Just have enough time to feed and hand back on the rod. It's just when it gets just about straight in front of me, it tends to go down at the moment. Somewhere around there. Hopefully, as we fish on, it seems to be happening. Getting slightly bigger. Hoping that'll continue to be the case. It'll just get slightly bigger and bigger and bigger the longer we fish. Oh, hello, we've got a bit of interest on this pike float here. It's bobbing away. Let's get that rod out of the way. see that down there. Definitely got a bit of interest. Unfortunately, the line's all covered in leaves. It's definitely off across the river, very slowly. A very strange bite. It's very, very slow. Definitely something going on. Float's gone flat now. Let's hit it. Yeah, we're in. What we got? Oh, little jack. Little jack. Thought for a minute it was a zander, just saw a little bit of colour. Thought, oh, it's a zander. No. Little jack. Get him in my little pan net. If we get anything big, we'll chin it out. Very angry little jack. Oh, spat the hook. Never mind. Wonderful. Right, I'll get that back out. That worked a treat, isn't it? Probably only been in there about 10-15 minutes. To be honest, it's probably the best result. It spat that because he gets away without an issue. I don't have to manhandle him on the bank, and he was probably about, if I said £3, I was probably being generous. Lovely job. That's great. I say that worked a treat. Great stuff. There's quite some depth off these reeds here. I'm just going a little bit deeper because I reckon it's off the end of these reeds here. It's at least 5 foot, if not 6. Just right the rod top there, so I want this all to sit on the bottom. Drop that in there. That's it. We're fishing just about 6 inches over depth now. That's wonderful. Great stuff. Pop that back down. Put the bait runner on, just in case something tears off with it. Because I have had bites off zander literally down here a few years ago, and they tear off like carp. Absolutely rip off. I've had screaming runs. I mean, literally, we're talking like 1 toners on the bite alarm. So they can actually absolutely tear off with a bait. So I've put the bait runner on. Oh, the sun's trying to come out. That's annoying. Well, this is a great bit of fun, isn't it? Really enjoying this. Just nice, like I say, just go out, get some bites. The Roach is still on it out there. And the sun's going to stay out for very long. Come on. Gone a little bit deeper to try and perhaps catch some slightly bigger ones. I'm a good 9 foot now. Not that I really mind, like I say, quite happy to get some bites really. It'd be nice to have a nice mixed bag, a few different species in there as well. I do love the catching roach. I haven't quite got my roach head on fully yet. Not really cold enough yet for me. A bit of frost on the ground. To go full on roach. But it would be nice, like I said, to have a nice mixed bag. That's good. There's pretty much all sorts in here. Ooh, a little better. Pull in a bit. Probably a perch. Well, that worked. I'm putting that, there we go. Just gone a little bit deeper on the caster. We've immediately had a better fish. Much better fish. Oh, that's a proper one. Well, that's more like it. How's about that? That's a proper handful. Wonderful. That's fab. That's fab. Just what I was hoping would happen. Get into some slightly bigger fish. Well, it does look like a day when I'm going to go home caked in roach line. Great if I do. I love walking through the front door and being told you stink before I get any further than the hall. If I stink, it means I've had a good day. Or a good few hours. Feels a little better as well. Perhaps it's just me. A little bit. Or is it Mr. Perch? Mr. Perch. Well, we've certainly got him going now. Come here. Wonderful. Some big old perch in this stretch as well. I've had them over £2. I think 2.12 was the biggest one I had one day. I had a few of them. $2.12 was the biggest one I had that particular day. Doing a similar thing to this, and all of a sudden the roach bite stopped, and I caught some nice perch and an absolute donkey. So pretty sure they'd come in after the roach, really. Okay, good bite. I'll just dot this float down a little bit more. Put a shot on, I think. Oh, another run on the predator rod. Absolutely vanished. Absolutely just shot out of view. Yeah, something's off with it. Oh, it's circle hooks as well, so no striking. Gonna wind down. Ah, dropped it. Well, it's about that, eh? That was, I don't know, seemed a bit zandery to me. It was very fast. Small zander tend to be quite fast with a bait. Grab it before their mates get it. That may well have been a zander. That would be nice. And that's exactly, as I said, why I got the bait run on. Because just at the corner of my eye, I saw the float bob, and then it was gone. Right. Get my float gear out of the foliage. Well, if it was a small zander, I'm sure it won't be long before we get another bite. Well, do you know what, guys? I'm having an absolutely fantastic time. Really, really enjoying this. Wonderful. Great fun. Seems to be connecting with a few slightly better fish now. Ah, perch. Had me fooled. Well, saying about a mixed bag. Wonderful. So I'm having to sit back a bit from the edge of the water here because of all these reeds and stuff in the edge. So I'm having to chuck these fish back. I'm doing it as gently as I can. And obviously the bigger ones I'm returning in the landing net, but it's just creating a disturbance, and I thought it might attract some predators. It has done in the past when I've done this sort of thing. Here we go. Pipe rubs off again. Didn't think it'd take long. I think it is little zander. There we go, on again. I think this is probably little zander, that's my guess anyway. Taking some line. We'll wind down to it. Yeah, over there, look. Oh, I think it's a perch, actually. Oh, it's a big old stripey. Wow. Wow. Now that's a perch. Well, was I saying about big perch in here? Well, guys, there we are. How's about that for a perch? Wonderful stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. Wow. And I can't imagine he's down there on his own. Sure, that's who we had a run off a minute ago. I was thinking it was zander, but yeah, it was probably a perch. Get that deadbait rod back in the water, shall we? Well, that's the result. Fab. I actually set up a perch bobber rod at home. Let's come down here perch fishing. It's a good spot for perch, it seems. Well, clearly with all these roach in here, it's going to be, isn't it? Definitely along the edge of these reeds. There's some depth there as well. I'd say it's at least 6 foot there. Just right off the edge of those reeds. Just drops straight off. Wonderful. Blimey. Oh, it's a bit bigger than I thought it was. Swing him in. A nice roach. Wonderful. Just gone back on double red. Because so I wasn't doing too good. Certainly wasn't picking out any bigger fish on caster. So I thought I'd give double red a go. We had that one straight away. Wonderful. Wonderful conditions at the moment. That sun was staying. It's quite overcast. Just a gentle upstream breeze, which is making tackle control much easier. Just a nice pace on the water too. Fantastic. Nice to come out and not be battling the elements. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to what size fish I'm catching on what bait. I think it's just a bit of a lottery, really. I mean, I could possibly get a bread flake or worm or something, but to be honest, I haven't bought any baits with me aside from these maggots with some casters in them. Just a quickish, easy session near home. Certainly getting a lot more bites on double red than I was on Ah, there we go, just about to swing him in. I wonder where they'd been all day. Little chublet. Absolutely snatched that on the drop. Could probably fish, or could have. It's getting a bit dark now. Could have fished probably a bit more on the drop. I was a bit concerned about getting bleaked out, as I said. The bleak in here can be horrendous sometimes. Kind of one of the few reasons why I've not been down here really till now, just till the water temperature drops off a bit and the bleak calmed down a bit. Oh, this feels a bit better. Just as the light levels are dropping, a little bit better. That's what it is. Not a monster, but double caster. However, I need something a bit nicer. Let me get it in too quick. It was straight in the reeds on my feet. Looks like a roach, I think. Nice hybrid, I think. Hence the fight. I think it's a hybrid. Nice. There we are. Definitely a hybrid. Body's not deep enough to be a bream, but it's definitely not a roach either. Looks very much like a roach bream hybrid to me. It's very, very bream like, but got that roach shaped body. And they do scrap. Guess having that bit of bream in it, the light drops, feels more inclined to feed. The water is very clear at the moment. Surprised we've done as well as we have actually. Roach are sort of known to like a bit of colour in the water, aren't they? And there's not a lot here today. Certainly at least 3 foot of visibility. And the light's not very good to be able to see in the water, so it may even be more than that. Well, that sun's gone down. Sport has certainly picked up. Certainly the amount of bites I'm getting. Where I'm casting in, the float's only running about a yard or 2 before I get a bite. But the average stamp hasn't really changed, unfortunately. We'll give it another 10 or 15 minutes anyway. Oh, we're still getting some bites, and we can still just about see the float. There we go, straight under. Settled on double caster. Seems to be the bait that's getting me the most bites, and avoiding the tiniest little fish. At one stage I was catching roach this big. There you go. We're back to catching roach that big. Not quite, it's not far off. I say we'll give it another 10 minutes, but yeah, hopefully we can winkle out a slightly better fish, or maybe that deadbait rod will tear off. Well, another hybrid, rather different looking one this time. Just shows you how different hybrids can be. I mean, you can see, if you stop wriggling, you can see that one's got much pinker fins, much more roach-like, but that's not the anal fin of a roach for sure. And no red eye, like roach tend to have. There's definitely some bream in there, but he's much more bream than, much more roach than bream, whereas the other one was much more bream than roach. For those of you not sure what I'm talking about, perhaps newer to fishing, talking about hybrids, a cross between usually, several species of fish can hybridise, but the most common hybrid is the common bream, the bronze bream, and the roach. They tend to spawn in the same areas, and they can fertilise each other's eggs, so they do crossbreed. And that's what generally is referred to as a hybrid, although you can get roach rudd hybrids and bream rudd hybrids and various other things. But generally when people talk about hybrids, they're referring to roach bream hybrids. This might be another one, looking at the shape of the body. I think that may be our first rudd of the day. We're getting a right mixed bag at the end of the day. We've got a rudd. It's a bit pale, but it's definitely a rudd. Upturned mouth. Amazing, isn't it? As soon as that light started to go, all of a sudden we're catching lots of other different fish apart from roach. It's going to be home time very soon. That's for certain. Don't mind a bit of fishing with a torch shining on the float, but when it's moving, it does make things very difficult. Oh, blimey, getting bites before I can feed now. It's gone absolutely crazy. Funny, it could stay like this all day. This light level. It's pretty dark at the moment. Go straight down. What we got this time in the lucky dip? Roach. I'll probably be leaving in about 10 minutes. Okay, see you in a minute. Bye. Oh God, I can nearly not see this float anymore. Very nearly. It's going to be a couple of more casts really, I think, realistically. But to be honest, it's not spending much of its time above the water anyway. It's gone crazy. Which, to be honest, is why I'm still sat here, because it's a bit chilly. not really dressed for the cold weather. The temperature's certainly dropped off since the sun went out. Like I say, we'll give it another few minutes till I really can't see the float. Well guys, as you can see, it's getting dark. I can no longer see the floats, so I think that's definitely time to go home. But I've really enjoyed that. I've had a cracking time. Nothing huge was there, but really enjoyed it, and we caught plenty of fish. Obviously I'm not going to show you all the fish I've caught, but I've caught stacks and stacks of fish. We ended up with a nice mixed bag and a few surprises along the way, and that lovely perch, of course, being really the icing on the cake. I mean, that was fantastic, and certainly not what I was expecting on dead baits. I know people catch perch on dead baits, but I wasn't expecting it, that's for sure. But yeah, as I say, really enjoyed that. It was just what the doctor ordered. Just nice to get out sometimes and get some bites, catch a few fish, and watch that float just trundling along there in the current. Now, I will be out again very soon. I'm not sure where or when, but till then, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your awesome support, and I'll see you all again very soon.